and welcome to Players Rugby Smart. I'm Nehe.
And I'm Hannah, and we're here to put the spotlight on areas like tackling, scrums, and how to avoid injury. Isn't that right, Nehe?
Yeah, I know a bit about injuries, so hopefully some of these tips on good technique will help you stay on the field this year.
We'll also be talking about concussions and what it means for players like him and people like me who have to look after him.
So make sure you watch the whole video. It's not long, but very important.
But first, before we do anything, we warm up. Warming up. Most of us do it before games, some of us do it before training, and some of us don't bother at all. The one thing we do have in common is we're all at more of a risk of injury if we don't warm up.
Don't think of warming up as a nuisance to get out of the way before the fun stuff. You need about 20 minutes before every contact session, and it's up to you to understand the benefits, including increased muscle, body and blood temperature.
If you want to know more about warming up or developing a program that suits you, go to rugbysmart.co.nz.
You'll also find some cool exercises with Sunny and Portia.
Rugby, it's a game that I love, but putting my body on the line means I need to prepare. Because failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Train hard, play hard.
Sunnyville does it again.
But before any of that, warm up. We're going to show you how ACC RugbySmart warm up. Let's go.
What do you think the number one cause of injuries in rugby are, Nehe?
I'm guessing it has something to do with tackling.
Nice guess. More players get hit in the tackle than any other area, and most of the time it's because of poor technique.
So here are some tips on the right way to tackle.
Eyes should always be on the core, whether tackling up around the ball or around the legs, and remember to keep moving forward into contact. Keep those feet moving with small steps.
Position yourself slightly inside the ball carrier if possible so that you're on his inside shoulder.
Always keep your face up and not look down, keeping your feet alive and position your leading foot close to the ball carrier. Remember the saying, if you think you are close enough, get closer.
Drive with your legs making firm contact with the shoulder, and make sure you keep your head to the side and keep driving.
Then punch your arms forward and wrap tightly around the ball carrier.
Continue to power drive through to complete the tackle and try to end up on top of the ball carrier.
Finally, you must release and get to your feet as fast as possible before you can compete for the ball. I don't know a lot about scrums, but it looks like a lot happens and a lot can go wrong in there.
Yep, a senior pack can weigh more than 800 kg. That's a lot of pressure and a recipe for disaster if someone has poor technique. So make sure you work on your core and neck strengthening exercises.
And if you haven't played in the front row, tell your coach so you can get the right training.
In the meantime, here's some of the things your coach should be saying, and check out the neck strengthening exercises at rugbysmart.co.nz.
The front rows must be standing not more than an arm's length apart. They must crouch so that when they meet, each player's head and shoulders are to be no lower than the hips. The front rowers must interlock so that no player's head is next to the head of a teammate. The referee will call crouch, then bind. The front rows crouch, then using their outside arm, each prop must bind. A loose head prop must bind on the opposing tight head prop by placing the left arm inside the right arm of the tight head and gripping the tight head prop's jersey on the back or side. A tight head prop must bind on the opposing loose head prop by placing the right arm outside the left upper arm of the opposing loose head prop and gripping the loose head prop's jersey with the right hand only on the back or side. The props must not grip the opponent's chest, arm, sleeve or collar. Following a pause, the referee will then call set when the front rows are ready. The front rows may then engage. And if your scrum goes down, a good tip is face in the mud, don't land on top of your head.
Concussions are serious because our brains are our most precious asset, and I want him and everybody around him to protect it from a big knock.
Yeah, but you can't worry about that.
Spoken like a typical player. But what happens if you do get knocked out in your hair?
Well, as long as the people around me know what they're doing, I'll be okay.
You're also lucky you have professionals all around you to give you the best treatment and advice. But what happens to the players who don't?
Running the ball up and someone came in from the side and kind of blindsided me.
I tackled with my jaw and got knocked out quite well.
And as soon as I brought my head up, the prop had come through and hit me square in the face with a knee.
I tried to defuse the situation and I got punched for my efforts.
Head meets the body, shoulder, and after that, just didn't really remember much.
I couldn't see. I was double vision.
I was out cold, probably about 10 or 20 seconds. Like, I was acting funny, asking my teammates the same questions over and over again.
I felt a little bit dizzy afterwards and had a bit of a headache.
The referee gave me a blue card.
I was actually trying to say I wasn't concussed because I heard about the blue card like the week before.
What did I know? I knew there was a blue card system, and I knew if you got a concussion, it was mandatory stand down 3 weeks.
Really, I knew there was a stand down. I don't know for how long.
I've had 3 concussions this year.
Yeah, I've been concussed twice.
3, including the one I recently had.
About 8 or 9 head knocks that I could probably consider as mild concussions.
Oh, this one was quite bad. It's probably the worst headaches that I've ever had before in my 4 concussions.
I took a week off training.
I didn't do any exercise for those 2 weeks.
I'm itching to get out there, but my coaches and my managers, they're like, nah, you can't do anything at the moment, mate.
Because I'm still having daily problems, there's just no point in trying to rush it back.
What's 3 weeks in the long run if you're going to have problems later on in life?
Half the stuff that I know now about it, I didn't know anything before I'd been concussed.
I think the best thing to do is go to the doctor as soon as you can.
You don't be a hero, I suppose.
If you have any symptoms or you think you have been concussed, have a chat to your physio, your coach, or even other players around you so they can either pass it on or tell you what they think you should do next.
When it's a concussion, no one can see or feel how you're feeling. And just look after yourself. In the end, I don't know if your coaches will be there in the waiting room when you're suffering from brain damage, but you just got to make sure you look after yourself.
So how do you know if I'm concussed? I might just be really puffed.
Well, there are some signs to check for, and your coach should have a sideline concussion checklist, like this. Do you have a headache or feel drowsy?
Nah, I'm okay, coach.
Can you see okay? Is your vision blurry?
I can see okay.
Your pupils look a little dilated. Is the light brighter or the sound loud?
Yeah, that was really loud.
Not really. Any ringing in the ears?
Maybe, I think.
Who are we playing and what's the score?
Suburbs, and I think we scored first.
One of the biggest indicators a player is concussed is how he or she is on their feet. Get them off and checked out. But before moving anyone, if you think that the player has suffered a serious head or neck injury, then do not move them. Just make sure that they are breathing, then wait for someone who knows what they're doing.
If you have been concussed and have any of these symptoms within the first 24 hours, then get to a hospital immediately. Also, no sleeping for the first 4 hours, and you should sleep and wake up normally.
Don't drink alcohol or take sleeping pills for at least 24 hours.
Don't drive for 24 hours.
And don't take aspirin or Disprin for the first 4 days.
And remember, if you have been concussed, you cannot return to play or train for 21 days post-injury.
Or 23 days if you're under 19, and only then if you have been cleared by a medical practitioner. And that doesn't mean your team physio.
If you do suffer a soft tissue injury, then the immediate sideline treatment could make a big difference in your recovery timeline.
So how do we limit the damage? Just remember the term RICE. Follow the 5 steps and timeout should be kept to a minimum. So what does RICE mean? R stands for rest, so stop playing and stay off the injury.
I is for ice. Make sure you have ice available at training and on game day.
C is for compression. If there is no ice around, then at least make sure that compression is used.
E stands for elevation, and the higher above your heart, the better.
Finally, D is for diagnosis, meaning the injury needs to be diagnosed by a health professional. You always wear a mouth guard, right?
Always. When I train and play, I like my teeth too much to take a chance.
And I know how you love going to the dentist. It's also compulsory during games, or you're off the field, so you better get used to wearing one.
You've heard the saying, you are what you eat. It's true, but in this case, you play like you eat.
Always eat good food to put fuel in the bank, because you'll be withdrawing it on the field.
And drink plenty of water.
Some key points on nutrition are: try and eat 2 to 4 hours before a game.
Foods that are high in carbohydrates, low in fat and fibre, and moderate in protein are the best choices.
These are foods like spaghetti on toast with a glass of juice.
Breakfast cereal, fruit, yogurt and milk, and a glass of water.
Sandwiches or rolls with a glass of milk.
Immediately before a game, try bananas, cereal bar, or a sandwich.
And immediately after the game, try flavoured milk, which is a great way to kickstart recovery as it contains fluid, carbohydrates and protein.
Within 2 hours of a game or training, eat a chicken salad sandwich with a glass of milk, or steak, potatoes and vegetables with a glass of juice.
When it comes to drinking, for adults, sports drinks are best suited during high-intensity trainings and games that last longer than 60 minutes.
Otherwise, drink small amounts of water regularly.
That's the end of Players Rugby Smart.
We hope you all enjoyed it and even learned a thing or two. There's a heap more at rugbysmart.co.nz, so be smart and check it out.
Take care, look out for one another and have fun.